The stars looked different through the observation window of the Vorthek command ship. Commander Thale had seen countless systems during his 30 years of service to the Empire. 47 worlds had fallen before his fleet. 47 species had surrendered when they saw the size of his armada. Some fought. Most simply gave up when they understood the truth. The Vorthek Empire could not be stopped. This small blue planet would be number 48. Thale studied the tactical display. Earth. That was what the inhabitants called it. The scanners showed a single species living on the surface. Humans. They had barely reached their own moon. No ships capable of faster-than-light travel. No orbital defense platforms. No plasma shields protecting their cities. Nothing that could challenge even a single Vorthek destroyer, and Thale commanded 300 warships. This would be easy. The communication officer turned from her station. She spoke quickly in the Vorthek language. There was something in her voice. Confusion, maybe, or concern. "Commander, we are receiving a transmission from the planet." Thale nodded. "Play it." The message was short, only one sentence in perfectly spoken Vorthek. The voice was calm, male, almost friendly. "We are prepared for your arrival." Thale waited for more. Nothing came. He looked at the communication officer. She checked her instruments and shook her head. "That is all, Commander. The transmission has ended." Thale felt his jaw tighten. Prepared. The scans were clear. This planet had nothing. A few primitive spacecraft in orbit, some weapons that used chemical explosives, basic nuclear technology. They were centuries behind the Empire. What preparation could they possibly have? It was a bluff. It had to be. "Send the standard terms," Thale ordered. "They have 72 hours to surrender completely. If they refuse, we begin bombardment." The communication officer sent the message. Thale expected panic, begging, threats. That was how primitive species usually responded. Instead, another transmission came almost immediately. "A representative will arrive at your flagship within the hour to discuss terms." Thale allowed himself a small smile. Good. They understood reality. This would be over quickly. Exactly 1 hour later, a small human shuttle approached the flagship. Thale watched it through the observation window. It was a simple design, chemical rockets and basic metal plating. The kind of ship his ancestors had used thousands of years ago. It docked with the flagship without incident. Thale went to the main airlock himself. He brought 6 guards. They wore full battle armor and carried plasma rifles. He wanted the human to see exactly what he faced. The airlock opened. A human stepped through. Thale had seen images of humans in the preliminary scans. This one looked like the others. Medium height, brown skin, dark hair, wearing simple clothing. No armor, no weapons. He carried only a small data pad. The human looked at Thale and the guards. His face showed no fear, no surprise. He simply nodded politely. "I am D. Hyun," the human said in perfect Vorthek. "I represent Earth in this matter." Thale was impressed despite himself. The human spoke Vorthek better than some species the Empire had conquered decades ago. His pronunciation was flawless, but speaking a language well did not change the situation. "I am Commander Thale of the Vorthek Imperial Fleet. You have seen our ships. You know what we can do. Surrender now and your species will be integrated into the Empire. You will serve, but you will live. Refuse and we will destroy everything." D. Hyun listened carefully. He looked thoughtful, almost academic, like they were discussing weather patterns instead of planetary conquest. "I understand," D. Hyun said, "but as we told you, we are prepared." Thale felt a flash of anger. "Prepared with what? We have scanned your entire planet. You have no defense satellites, no shield generators. Your largest weapons could barely scratch our smallest ship. What preparation are you talking about?" D. Hyun smiled slightly. It was not a nervous smile, not a scared smile. It was the kind of smile someone gave when they knew something you did not. "Commander, Have you ever conquered a species that expected you? The question caught Thale off guard. He thought about it. Most conquests were surprises. The Vorthek fleet appeared without warning. That was part of the strategy. Fear worked better when it came suddenly. No, Thale admitted. Exactly, Hyun said. Every species you conquered was surprised, unprepared. But we have known about your empire for 3 years. We detected your scout ships long ago. We knew you were coming. We have had 3 years to prepare. Thale gestured at the tactical display on the wall. It showed Earth in detail, every continent, every ocean, every city. We see everything on your planet. There are no hidden weapons, no secret fleets, no underground bunkers full of super soldiers. You have nothing. Hyun nodded agreeably. That is all true. We built no new weapons. We created no secret army, but we prepared. How? Thale demanded. His patience was wearing thin. You will see, Hyun said simply. You gave us 72 hours, that is fair. We accept. During that time you will understand what we mean. Thale stared at the human. Hyun looked back calmly. His heart rate was normal, his breathing was steady. The bioscanners showed no signs of deception, no fear, no stress. This human actually believed what he was saying. That worried Thale more than anything else. You may return to your planet, Thale said. Think carefully. In 3 days you will either surrender or die. Hyun bowed slightly, a gesture of respect. Commander, one more thing. Please tell your soldiers to be careful when they begin their landing operations. We would hate for there to be unnecessary accidents. Thale felt cold. What landing operations? I have not ordered any landings. Not yet, Hyun said, but you will. In about 18 hours you will send probe teams to the surface. You always do. It is standard Vorthek military procedure. We studied your tactics very carefully. Thale said nothing. The human was right. That was exactly what he planned to do. Hyun smiled again, that same knowing smile. We told you, Commander. We are prepared for your arrival, all of it. Every step you will take, every decision you will make. We have been ready for 3 years. The human turned and walked back to the airlock. Thale watched him go. The guards looked at their commander, waiting for orders, but Thale just stood there thinking. Something was wrong. This human was too calm, too confident. Species facing extinction did not act like this. They panicked. They begged. They made desperate threats. They did not smile and quote your own military procedures back at you. Thale returned to the command center. He looked at the tactical display again. Earth hung there in space, blue and green and beautiful, completely defenseless. And yet, begin scanning for hidden installations, Thale ordered. Deep underground, underwater, under ice, scan everything again. His officers worked quickly. Hours passed. The results came back the same. Nothing. No hidden bases, no secret weapons. Earth was exactly what it appeared to be, a primitive planet with basic technology. But Hyun's words stayed in Thale's mind. We are prepared for your arrival. The commander looked out at the stars. He had conquered 47 worlds. This would be 48. It had to be. The empire did not fail. But for the first time in his long military career, Commander Thale felt uncertain, and that feeling would not go away. Hyun sat in the command center deep under the mountains of Central Asia. Screens covered every wall. Each one showed different parts of Earth, cities, oceans, farms, forests, and now Vorthek ships hanging in orbit like metal predators waiting to strike. She was 26 years old, a tactical officer. This was her first real assignment after training. She had expected to monitor weather patterns and coordinate supply shipments. Instead, she was watching an alien invasion fleet. Her supervisor, an older man named Bongsu, stood nearby. He looked tired. Everyone looked tired. They had been on duty for 30 hours straight since the Vorthek arrived, but no one complained. This was what they had trained for. Hyun checked the network status. Bongsu said. Hyun pulled up the global communication grid. Green lights across the entire display. Every city, every town, every village, all connected, all functioning normally. Network is stable, she reported. All nodes responding, no interruptions. Good, keep monitoring. They will try to jam us soon. Hyun knew he was right. The Vorthek always tried to cut communications. Isolated populations were easier to control, but Earth was not like the other planets the Vorthek had conquered. Earth had spent 3 years preparing for this exact moment. On one of her screens, Hyun watched the Vorthek fleet. 18 hours had passed since Dehyun returned from the flagship. Just like he predicted, 3 small Vorthek ships broke formation and descended toward Earth's atmosphere. Probe teams, exactly on schedule. They are coming, Hyun said quietly. Bongsu nodded. Let them come, alert all stations, condition yellow, observe and document everything, no aggressive actions. Hyun sent the alert. Across the planet, thousands of observation posts received the message. Satellites adjusted their cameras. Monitoring stations powered up additional sensors, but no weapons activated, no missiles launched, no fighter jets scrambled. Earth was not going to fight, not in the way the Vorthek expected. The 3 Vorthek probe ships entered the atmosphere, one headed for North America, one for Asia, one for Europe. Hyun focused on the Asian ship. It descended over a major coastal city, population 8 million, one of Earth's largest urban centers. On her screen, Hyun watched the Vorthek ship slow and hover over the city center. It was huge, 5 times bigger than Earth's largest aircraft. Its hull was dark metal covered in weapon ports. A single shot from that ship could destroy an entire city block. But the Vorthek did not fire. The ship just floated there, scanning, watching, trying to understand what it was seeing. Because the city below was not panicking. Hyun switched to ground-level cameras. The streets were full of people, but they were not running, not screaming, not hiding. They were going to work, taking children to school, shopping, eating breakfast at outdoor cafes, living their normal lives, and filming everything. Hyun watched as thousands of people held up their phones, tablets, cameras. Everyone was recording the alien ship, posting videos, streaming live, sharing on every social media platform Earth had. Within minutes, the entire planet could see what was happening in that city, in real time. They are trying to jam local communications, one of the other officers reported. Hyun checked her systems. She could see the Vorthek ship broadcasting interference signals, strong ones, powerful enough to shut down every electronic device in the city. But the phones kept working, the streams kept flowing, the network did not fail. Jamming is ineffective, Hyun confirmed. Our distributed relay system is compensating automatically. Bongsu smiled slightly. It was a tired smile but genuine. 3 years of preparation. They tried to jam 47 other worlds. We knew they would try it here. We made sure it would not work. Hyun understood. Earth's communication network was not like other planets. It was not centralized. There was no single point of failure. Every device could relay signals. Every phone, every computer, every satellite. They all worked together. Jamming one part just made the others root around it. The Vorthek could not silence Earth. On her screen, Hyun watched more probe ships descend. A dozen now, then 20, then 50. They spread across the planet, hovering over cities and towns and even small villages. Everywhere they went, the same thing happened. People stayed calm, they documented everything, they shared it all. In Tokyo, a woman walked her dog past a Vorthek ship. She stopped to take a photo. The dog barked at the alien craft. She laughed and posted the video with a caption, "First contact with my dog." In Cairo, children played soccer in a park while a Vorthek ship floated overhead. When the ball rolled toward the ship, one brave child ran to get it. The Vorthek did not shoot. The child grabbed the ball and returned to the game. In Buenos Aires, a street musician set up near a vortex ship and started playing guitar. A crowd gathered, not to protest, not to panic, just to listen to music and watch aliens at the same time. Hyun felt something strange in her chest, pride maybe, or hope. Her people were not cowering, they were showing the vortex something unexpected, human normalcy in the face of terror. Hyun, we are getting reports from the vortex fleet, another officer said. They are confused, they keep scanning for military installations, hidden weapons, underground bunkers, they cannot find anything. Because there is nothing to find, Bong-su said. We built no new weapons. We created no secret army. We prepared in different ways. On Hyun's main screen, a new feed appeared. A classroom in South Korea. A teacher named Minji was conducting a normal lesson, mathematics, basic algebra, but she had positioned a camera by the window. Outside, a vortex ship hung in the sky like a dark cloud. Minji taught as if nothing was wrong. She wrote equations on the board, called on students, answered questions. The children watched her, not the alien ship. Teacher Minji has 3 million people watching her live stream, one officer reported. No, wait, 5 million now, 10 million. Hyun understood. Minji was not just teaching math. She was teaching the world how to respond to invasion, with calm, with normalcy, with the simple act of continuing to live. The vortex wanted fear. They fed on panic, but Earth refused to give them that satisfaction. More vortex ships descended, landing craft this time, bigger than the probe ships. They touched down in multiple cities. Their ramps opened. Soldiers emerged, tall figures in dark armor carrying advanced weapons. Hyun tensed. This was the moment, first contact, ground troops, things could go wrong so quickly. But again, the humans surprised her. In London, vortex soldiers marched into Trafalgar Square. They expected resistance, weapons, angry mobs. Instead, they found tourists taking pictures, street vendors selling food, pigeons pecking at breadcrumbs. One soldier pointed his weapon at a human who approached. The human held up both hands, empty, peaceful. Then he held out his phone with the translation program active. "Welcome to Earth," the phone said in vortex language. "Do you need directions?" The vortex soldier stared. His weapon stayed raised, but he did not fire. In Sydney, vortex troops landed near the harbor. A human woman approached. She was older, gray hair, kind face. She carried a box. The vortex squad leader scanned her for weapons. Nothing. He gestured for her to approach. The woman opened the box. Inside were bottles of water, sandwiches, fruit. She offered them to the soldiers. "You have been in space a long time," she said through a translation device. "You must be hungry." The vortex soldiers did not take the food, but they did not shoot her either. They just stood there, completely unsure what to do. Hyun watched it all. Every screen showed similar scenes. Humans approaching aliens with curiosity instead of weapons, with hospitality instead of hostility, with cameras instead of guns. "Brilliant," Bong-su said softly. "Absolutely brilliant." "What is?" Hyun asked. "We are making ourselves real to them, not targets, not enemies, real people living real lives. The vortex have conquered 47 species, but they did it from orbit, with distance, with weapons fired from space. They never had to look their victims in the eyes, but now they do. Every soldier on the ground is seeing humans as individuals, as people. That changes everything." Hyun felt a chill. She understood. War was easier when the enemy was abstract, just dots on a display, just targets to destroy. But Earth was forcing the vortex to see them, really see them, as mothers and fathers, teachers and students, farmers and artists, real breathing people who smiled and ate and played with dogs. Could someone bomb a planet after sharing a meal with its inhabitants? Earth was betting the answer was no. On her screen, the feed from teacher Minji's classroom continued. The math lesson ended. Minji looked at the camera, at the 10 million people watching. "Class is over for today," she said. "Same time tomorrow, everyone stay safe." 10 million people heard that message. Tomorrow. There would be a tomorrow. Earth believed it, and Earth would make the Vorthek believe it too. Commander Kreth stood in the command center of his dropship and watched the city spread beneath him. His orders were clear. Establish occupation in this major Earth city. Secure key infrastructure, power generation, water treatment, communications, transportation hubs. Control those and you controlled the city. It was standard procedure. Kreth had done this on 4 other planets. It always worked. But something felt wrong here. His ship had landed in the city center 3 hours ago. His troops had deployed. 200 soldiers in full combat gear. They had set up checkpoints, established a perimeter around the power station. Everything by the book. The humans had not resisted, not even a little. They just watched and filmed everything. Kreth checked his tactical display. Power station secured. No issues. Water treatment facility under guard. No issues. Communication towers monitored. No issues. Everything was going according to plan. So why did he feel so uneasy? A message came through his communicator. Lieutenant Vex at the power station. "Commander, we have a situation here." Kreth felt his muscles tense. Finally, some kind of resistance. "Report." "There is a human who wants to talk to you. She says she coordinates city infrastructure. She is unarmed. My translator says she wants to help us." Kreth frowned. Help? That made no sense. "Bring her to my position carefully." 10 minutes later, a human woman entered his command center. She was escorted by 4 soldiers with weapons ready, but she did not look afraid. She looked calm, professional. She carried a tablet computer and wore practical clothing. A badge on her shirt said her name was Ti Yang. "Commander," she said through her translation device. The Vorthek words came out clear and properly pronounced. "Thank you for agreeing to meet with me." Kreth studied her. She was young, maybe 30 Earth years, dark hair pulled back, intelligent eyes. She stood confidently despite being surrounded by armed aliens. "What do you want?" Kreth asked. Ti Yang smiled. It was a professional smile, the kind officials used in negotiations. "I want to help you avoid problems. You have occupied our power station. That is fine. We understand military necessity, but the system is complicated. If you try to operate it without help, you might cause a cascade failure. Then the whole Eastern District loses power, including your ships." Kreth felt irritated. "Our engineers can handle primitive power systems." "Of course," Ti Yang said smoothly. "Your technology is far superior, but our system is not primitive in the way you think. It is distributed, networked. Every building has backup generators. Every block has solar panels. Every home has battery storage. It all works together. If one part fails, the others compensate, but only if the control algorithms know what is happening." She turned her tablet to show him. The screen displayed a complex network diagram, thousands of nodes, millions of connections, data flowing in real time. "This is our city power grid," Ti Yang explained. "It is not like the centralized systems you found on other planets. You cannot just take the power station and control everything. The power station is just one piece. The real system is the entire city working together." Kreth looked at the diagram. She was right. This was not what he expected. Most conquered species had simple infrastructure, central power plants, main water supplies, easy to control. But this network was different, complicated, redundant, decentralized. "Why are you telling me this?" Kreth asked. Ti Yang looked at him directly. "Because you will need electricity. Your ships require power for life support. Your soldiers need it for their equipment. When you try to take control of our system without understanding it, you will break it. Then you will have no power. We would rather help you integrate properly. It is better for everyone." Kreth wanted to refuse. This felt like a trick, but he thought about his mission. Occupation meant keeping the city functional. A broken power grid helped no one. "What do you propose?" he asked carefully. "Let my team continue operating the power system. We will provide everything your forces need. In return, you do not try to take manual control. That way, nothing breaks and everyone has electricity." It was logical, practical, but it also meant leaving humans in control of critical infrastructure. That violated protocol. "I need to consult with my superiors," Kreth said. Tiang nodded. "Of course, take your time. But Commander, you should know something. Every major city on Earth has similar infrastructure, all distributed, all networked, all operated by humans who have been running these systems for years. Your other ground commanders are receiving similar offers right now." Kreth felt a cold sensation. This was coordinated, planet-wide. The humans had planned this. After Tiang left, Kreth checked with other ground teams. She was right. In every city, local infrastructure coordinators had approached occupation forces, all with similar offers, all with the same message: "Let us help you. Work with us. Do not try to take control by force." Commander Thale called an emergency meeting. All ground commanders reported via secure channel. "They are trying to make us dependent on them," one commander said. "It is a trap." "Maybe," another replied. "But look at our supply situation. We brought enough food and water for 3 months. After that, we need to use local resources. If we break their infrastructure, we break our own supply lines." Kreth listened to the discussion. He thought about Tiang's words: "It is better for everyone." A new message came through. One of his squads at the water treatment facility. Kreth opened the channel. "Commander, the humans were right about the power system. We tried to take manual control. We followed standard procedure. But something went wrong. We triggered a safety shutdown. The plant went offline for 2 hours before we figured out how to restart it." Kreth closed his eyes. This was exactly what Tiang had warned about. "Did the humans help you fix it?" he asked. There was a pause. "Yes, Commander. A human technician came when he saw the problem. He showed us how to restart safely. He did not have to, but he did." Kreth opened his eyes. He looked at his tactical display. His troops controlled the important locations: the power station, the water plant, the communication towers. But controlling a location was not the same as controlling the system. The systems were too complex, too interconnected, too dependent on people who understood how they worked. The Vorthek could occupy the buildings, but the humans still operated the city. More reports came in, similar stories from across the planet, humans offering assistance, showing Vorthek soldiers how things worked, explaining the complicated systems that kept cities running, always helpful, always friendly, never hostile. It was confusing, frustrating, and increasingly necessary. Kreth approved Tiang's proposal. Let the humans continue operating the power grid. It was practical. His engineers agreed. The system was too complex to learn quickly. Better to keep it functional and worry about control later. He expected the human woman to gloat, to show some sign of victory. But when he told her the decision, Tiang just smiled professionally and said thank you. "We will make sure your ships have everything they need," she said. "If you require additional power, just let us know. We can reroute from other districts." "Why are you helping us?" Kreth asked. The question had been bothering him since they first met. "We are invading your planet." Tiang looked thoughtful. "Commander, you have 2 choices. You can work with us and everyone has food and water and electricity. Or you can try to take everything by force and risk breaking systems that took us decades to build. Either way, you are here. We cannot change that, but we can choose how this goes. We prefer cooperation." "We could just destroy everything and rebuild ourselves," Kreth pointed out. "You could," Tiang agreed. "But that would take years, and you would need to learn our planet, our ecosystems, our climate, our resources, all while keeping 300 ships supplied. How long can your fleet survive without resupply? 6 months, a year. It would be very difficult, Commander. Kreth said nothing. She was right. The fleet had supplies, but not infinite supplies. They needed this planet, not just to conquer it, to survive while occupying it. Tiang's smile became slightly warmer, less professional, more genuine. We prepared for your arrival, Commander, not with weapons, with understanding. We studied the Vorthek Empire for 3 years. We learned everything about you, your tactics, your logistics, your needs. We knew you would come. We knew what you would do, and we prepared to make ourselves necessary. Kreth finally understood. This was the preparation, not weapons, not armies, not secret technology. The humans had prepared by making Earth so complicated, so interconnected, so dependent on human knowledge that conquering it would be nearly impossible. The Vorthek could occupy Earth, but they could not operate it, not without human help. You planned this, Kreth said quietly. Yes, Tiang replied. We had 3 years, we used them well. Kreth thought about reporting this to Commander Thale. But what would he say? That the humans were being too helpful, that they were making occupation too easy, that their cooperation was suspicious. It all sounded absurd. But it was working. Tiang bowed slightly. I should return to the power station. We have a scheduled maintenance check this afternoon. Your engineers are welcome to observe. We can teach them how the system works. Knowledge is better than ignorance, yes. She left before Kreth could respond. He watched her go. Then he looked at his tactical display again. Every important location was under Vorthek control, but somehow Kreth did not feel like he was winning. He felt like he was becoming dependent, and that scared him more than any weapon Earth could have built. Nex had been a soldier for 12 years. He had served in conquest operations on 3 different worlds. He knew how occupations worked. You established control. You maintained distance from the local population. You enforced order. You never got comfortable. But Earth was different. Nex stood guard at a human settlement. It was not really a city. Maybe 5,000 people, rural area, farms mostly. His squad had been stationed here for 2 weeks. Their orders were simple: monitor the population, prevent resistance, maintain security. The humans had not resisted, not once. Instead, they had welcomed the Vorthek soldiers, not with celebrations, not with friendship, but with something more practical: basic hospitality. 3 days after arriving, a human man approached the Vorthek camp. He was old by human standards, maybe 60 years, brown skin weathered by sun, wearing simple farm clothes. He carried a large basket. The squad leader, Sergeant Kren, had stopped him at the perimeter, scanned him for weapons, found nothing. The human had smiled patiently while being searched. My name is Jinho, the human said through his translation device. I grow vegetables on my farm. I brought food for your soldiers. Kren had been suspicious. Why? Jinho had shrugged. You have been eating ration packs for weeks. I have fresh food, tomatoes, peppers, onions, leafy greens. My farm produces more than my family needs. Why should I let it go to waste when you are here? Kren had accepted the food after checking it carefully. No poison, no drugs, just fresh vegetables like the human said. The soldiers had eaten well that night, better than they had in months. Jinho had returned the next day with more food, and the day after that, and the day after that. It became routine. The human farmer brought vegetables every morning, sometimes fruit, sometimes fresh bread, always something useful. Nex found himself looking forward to Jinho's visits, not just for the food. The old farmer always stayed to talk. He was curious about the Vorthek, asked questions, learned their language, started speaking simple Vorthek phrases without the translator. How long have you been in space? Jinho asked one morning. Nex thought about it. 18 months this voyage, 3 years total in the fleet. Jinho made a thoughtful sound. That is a long time away from home. Do you miss your family? The question surprised Nex. No human had asked about his personal life before. On other planets, the locals avoided Vortex soldiers. They were afraid, angry, resentful. But Jinho seemed genuinely interested. Yes, Nex admitted. I have a mate and 2 offspring. I have not seen them in 3 years. Jinho nodded with understanding. I have 3 children, all grown now. 2 live in the city. 1 stayed here to farm with me. I would miss them terribly if we were separated that long. Nex found himself talking more about his home planet, his family, his life before the military. Jinho listened, really listened. He asked good questions, showed real interest. Over the following days, Jinho taught Nex about Earth farming, the crops, the seasons, the careful work of growing food. He explained Earth's agriculture in simple terms, how different regions grew different crops, how trade networks distributed food across the planet, how humans had fed themselves for thousands of years. Your fleet must need a lot of food, Jinho said one day. 300 ships, how many crew total? About 80,000 soldiers and support staff, Nex replied. Jinho did mental math. That is a lot of mouths to feed. Your supply ships must be very large. Nex hesitated. This felt like information he should not share, but Jinho had been so helpful, so friendly, and it was not really a secret. The fleet size was obvious to anyone who could count ships. We have supply ships, Nex said carefully, but they are running low. We expected to use local resources by now. Jinho nodded thoughtfully. He did not seem surprised. Earth can feed your soldiers, we have plenty of food, but you would need to work with farmers like me. Learn what grows where. Understand the seasons. Respect the land. Why would you feed us? Nex asked. We conquered your planet. Jinho looked at him with kind eyes. You conquered the military bases, the government buildings, but you did not conquer my farm. I still grow my vegetables. My life continues. Why should I be angry at you personally? You are just a soldier following orders, like my son was a soldier once. Your son was military? Nex asked. Yes, he served for 6 years. He told me about military life, the long deployments, being away from home, following orders even when you are tired, even when you are lonely. Jinho smiled sadly. You remind me of him sometimes. Nex felt something uncomfortable in his chest. He was not supposed to have personal connections with conquered populations, but Jinho was not behaving like a conquered person. He was behaving like a friend. Other Vortex soldiers reported similar experiences. Humans in occupied territories were not hostile. They continued their daily lives and included the Vortex soldiers in practical ways, offering food, teaching local customs, showing them how things worked, always helpful, always patient. It was confusing. Nex received orders to inspect the local water system, make sure it was secure. Jinho offered to show him how it worked. Our water comes from underground aquifers, Jinho explained as they walked through the settlement. We pump it up and filter it here. Each home has storage tanks. It is a simple system but reliable. He showed Nex the pumps, the filters, the distribution network, explained everything in detail. Nex realized the system was more complex than it looked, multiple redundancies, backup systems, all maintained by locals who understood every component. If we needed to take control of this system, could we? Nex asked. Jinho considered the question seriously. You could try, but our system requires daily maintenance, filter cleaning, pressure checks, flow adjustments. Someone needs to know how it all works together. Break one part and the whole thing stops. Then everyone goes thirsty, including your soldiers. Nex understood the message. The humans were not refusing cooperation. They were explaining reality. Earth systems were complicated. They required knowledge. Knowledge the Vorthek did not have. Reports from other squads confirmed similar situations. Earth's infrastructure was deeply interconnected. Food production, water treatment, power generation, medical care, transportation, all of it operated by humans who had spent years learning their specific jobs. The Vorthek could occupy the locations, but they could not operate the systems. One evening, Jinho invited Nex to dinner at his home. Nex knew he should refuse, but he was curious. He accepted. Jinho's home was simple, comfortable. His wife cooked traditional Earth food. Their daughter was there with her young child, a baby, maybe 1 year old. They sat around a table, shared a meal. The family treated Nex like a guest, not an occupier, not an enemy, a guest in their home. The baby reached for Nex with small hands. Jinho's daughter laughed. She is curious. She has never seen a Vorthek before. Nex carefully let the baby touch his hand. The small fingers wrapped around his large ones. The baby made happy sounds, looked up at him with innocent eyes. Nex felt that uncomfortable feeling in his chest again, stronger this time. This was someone's child, someone's daughter, someone's granddaughter, a family, a real family living a real life on this planet. If Commander Thale ordered orbital bombardment, this baby would die. Jinho would die. His family would die. All the people in this settlement would be gone in seconds. Could Nex follow that order? He had followed orders before, on other planets, but those populations had been abstract, numbers, strategic targets. He had never shared meals with them, never held their children, never learned their names. Jinho seemed to sense Nex's thoughts. "You are thinking about the fleet," the old farmer said quietly, "about what might happen." Nex nodded slowly. "Our commander could order total destruction. We have the weapons." "I know," Jinho said. "We always knew, but would you follow that order, after eating food from my farm, after meeting my family, after seeing my granddaughter smile at you? Could you kill us?" Nex did not answer. He did not know the answer. Jinho leaned forward. His voice was gentle but firm. "This is what we prepared for, Nex. We prepared to make you see us, really see us, not as targets, as people, because people are harder to kill than targets. People have names, faces, stories, families. Once you know someone, killing them becomes much more difficult." Nex looked around the table. At Jinho, his wife, his daughter, the baby sleeping peacefully, a normal family, living a normal life. "We cannot leave," Nex said. "The Empire does not retreat. We are here permanently." "We know," Jinho replied. "We do not expect you to leave, but you can choose how you stay, as conquerors or as neighbors. One path ends in destruction. The other ends in cooperation. We prefer cooperation." Nex returned to camp that night thinking hard. The next day he received his weekly supply ration, dried protein, synthetic nutrients, basic calories. He looked at it and thought about Jinho's fresh vegetables, about the meal he had shared. The fleet's supplies were running lower every week. Soon they would need Earth food, Earth water, Earth resources. They would need human farmers like Jinho, human workers, human knowledge. The Vorthek had conquered Earth, but Earth was quietly, peacefully, systematically making the Vorthek dependent on human cooperation to survive. Nex finally understood what Dehyun meant. "We are prepared for your arrival." Earth had prepared by making themselves necessary, valuable, human, and that preparation was working better than any weapon possibly could. Commander Thale stood alone in his private quarters looking at the tactical display. 63 days since the fleet arrived at Earth. 63 days and nothing had gone according to plan. The planet was occupied. His troops controlled every major city, every strategic location, every important resource. By all military measures, the conquest was complete. So why did he feel like he had lost? The answer appeared in his daily reports. Food supplies at 40%, water recycling systems strained, medical supplies running low, fleet morale declining, soldiers requesting extended leave on the surface, integration with local populations increasing. Integration, That was the problem. Thale pulled up personnel reports. Over 30,000 soldiers had accepted meals from humans. 15,000 had attended local cultural events. 8,000 had learned basic human languages. 3,000 had formed what the reports called friendships with local populations. Friendships. Thale felt anger rising. This was not how conquests worked. You maintained separation, distance, authority. You did not become friends with the conquered. But Earth had not acted conquered. They had continued living, working, helping, making themselves useful, making themselves human. An alert appeared on his screen, priority message from the Imperial Council. Thale opened it with cold certainty. He knew what it would say. Commander Thale, your conquest of Earth has taken too long. Other sectors require fleet assets. You have 60 days to complete subjugation and establish permanent garrison. If unable to achieve this, you are authorized to implement final protocol. Orbital bombardment, total elimination, rebuild from nothing. The Empire cannot wait forever. 60 days, then genocide or success. Those were his options. Thale should have felt relief. Final protocol gave him a solution. If Earth would not submit properly, he could simply destroy everything and start over. The Empire had done it before on difficult planets. But something stopped him. He thought about his ground commanders, about their reports, about soldiers eating fresh food from local farms, about infrastructure that only worked with human cooperation, about a planet that had systematically made itself necessary. Could he order total destruction now? After his troops had spent 2 months living among humans, after they had learned names and faces and stories. Thale called an emergency meeting, all senior officers, secure channel. The Imperial Council has authorized final protocol, he told them. We have 60 days to achieve complete subjugation, or we are ordered to sterilize the planet and rebuild. Silence filled the channel, long, uncomfortable silence. Finally, one commander spoke. Sir, we should discuss the practical implications. Explain, Thale said. Our supplies are critically low. We depend on Earth resources now. Food, water, repair materials. If we destroy the planet, we destroy our supply lines. The fleet cannot survive long enough for new supplies to arrive from the Empire. We are 6 months from the nearest Imperial outpost. Another commander added, also morale. Our soldiers have integrated with local populations. Many have formed connections. Ordering them to kill people they know personally will cause problems, possibly even disobedience. Disobedience. That word hit Thale hard. Vorthek soldiers did not disobey, ever, but these were not normal circumstances. What do you recommend? Thale asked. Negotiation, the first commander said. Real negotiation, not conquest terms, partnership terms. Thale felt his jaw tighten. The Empire does not negotiate with conquered species. Then maybe we need to admit Earth is not conquered, another officer said quietly. We occupy their buildings, but they control the systems. We thought we were taking their planet, but actually they made us need their planet. That is not the same thing. Thale knew the truth, had known it for weeks, but hearing someone say it out loud made it real. Earth had won, not through weapons, through strategy, through 3 years of careful preparation. They had known the Vorthek were coming. They had studied every aspect of Vorthek military doctrine. Then they had systematically made themselves impossible to conquer without destroying everything the Vorthek needed to survive. It was brilliant, infuriating, and completely effective. A request came through. Someone wanted to dock with the flagship. Thale checked the identification, a human shuttle. The passenger was listed as Sangwoo, ambassador. Thale almost refused. Then he remembered Di Hyun, the first human who had visited, the one who had been calm, confident, the one who said Earth was prepared. Allow the shuttle to dock, Thale ordered. 30 minutes later, Sangwoo entered his command center. She was a woman, maybe 50 years old, professional clothing, carrying a data pad. She looked around the room with interested eyes, not afraid, not impressed, just interested. "Commander Thale," she said in perfect Vorthek, "thank you for seeing me." "What do you want?" Thale asked. He kept his voice flat, cold. Sangwoo smiled slightly. "I want to discuss our future, yours and ours." "Your future ended when my fleet arrived." "Did it?" Sangwoo asked. "Commander, we have been studying your fleet for 2 months. We know your supply situation. We know your morale issues. We know that many of your soldiers have formed positive relationships with humans. We know everything." She tapped her data pad. The main display screen activated, charts appeared, supply graphs, personnel reports, communication intercepts, everything. Thale felt cold rage. "You have been spying on us." "Yes," Sangwoo said simply. "We have been spying on you for 3 years, since before you arrived. We intercepted your scout ships, learned your languages, studied your tactics, analyzed your logistics, prepared for every move you would make." She gestured at the screen. "You arrived with 73 different civilizations represented in your crew. Did you know that? Species you conquered decades ago. We learned the languages of 47 of those species. We interviewed survivors from planets you destroyed. We built detailed profiles of how the Vorthek Empire operates, your strengths, your weaknesses, everything." Thale stared at the data. It was accurate, precise, complete. Earth had known everything about the Vorthek before first contact. "Why are you telling me this?" he demanded. "Because I want you to understand something important," Sangwoo said. "Earth did not build weapons. We did not create secret armies. We did not develop super technology. We prepared by becoming something you could not destroy without destroying yourselves. We made ourselves necessary. We made ourselves human. And it worked." She pulled up more data. "Your soldiers have eaten our food, used our water, relied on our infrastructure. Many have formed friendships with local populations. Your Lieutenant Nex visits Farmer Jinho every day. Your Commander Kreth works with Infrastructure Coordinator Ti Yang. Your troops across the planet have integrated into human society in ways that make them dependent on human cooperation." Thale knew all this, but seeing it documented so completely was different. "You manipulated us," he said. "Yes," Sangwoo agreed. "We manipulated you, through kindness, through hospitality, through basic human decency. We showed your soldiers that we are people, real people with families and hopes and lives worth preserving. We made it impossible for you to kill us without seeing our faces, knowing our names, understanding our humanity." She took a step closer. "Commander, you have a choice now. You can order orbital bombardment, kill every human on the planet, start over from nothing. But if you do that, your fleet will not survive. You need our resources, you need our cooperation. And your soldiers will not follow that order. Not anymore. Not after 2 months of living among us." "You do not know that," Thale said, but his voice lacked conviction. "I do know that," Sangwoo replied. "Because we studied you. We studied human psychology too. We know that people cannot kill easily once they form personal connections. Your soldiers are people. They have limits. We found those limits and used them." Thale felt tired suddenly, so tired. "What do you want from me?" "Partnership," Sangwoo said. "Not conquest, not surrender, real partnership. The Vorthek Empire needs resources. Earth can provide them, but we do it as equals, not as slaves, not as conquered subjects, as partners who choose cooperation because it benefits everyone. The Empire will never accept that." "The Empire is 6 months away," Sangwoo pointed out. "You are here now. You can make this decision. Tell them Earth is too difficult to conquer properly. Tell them that partnership is more efficient than occupation. Tell them whatever you need to tell them, but choose cooperation over destruction." Thale looked at his display, at his supply graphs, at the reports from his commanders, at the truth he had been avoiding for weeks. "You planned all this," he said quietly. "From the beginning, 3 years of preparation, you knew exactly what would happen. Yes, Sangwoo said. We knew you would come. We knew you would occupy our cities. We knew you would try to take control. We knew your supplies would run low. We knew your soldiers would meet humans personally. We planned for everything, because we had 3 years and we used them well. She smiled. It was not a mocking smile, not a victorious smile, just a tired professional smile. Commander, we sent you a message when you arrived. Do you remember it? We are prepared for your arrival, Thale recited. Yes, we were prepared, not with weapons, with understanding. We understood you. We understood ourselves. We understood that the best way to win a war is to make the war unnecessary. So we did. We made ourselves so valuable, so necessary, so human that destroying us became impossible. Sangwoo placed a document on the desk. This is a partnership proposal, trade agreements, technology sharing, cultural exchange, mutual defense, everything you need to present to the Imperial Council as a successful conquest, except we both know it is not conquest, it is something else, something better. Thale looked at the document. He thought about 60 days, about final protocol, about the choice before him. He thought about his soldiers sharing meals with humans, about Commander Kreth working with Ti Yang, about Soldier Nex holding Jinho's granddaughter, about 2 months of slowly realizing that Earth had won without firing a shot. I need time to consider this, Thale said. Of course, Sangwoo replied. Take all the time you need. We are not going anywhere, we told you. We are prepared for your arrival, all of it, including this conversation, including your decision. Whatever you choose, we are ready. She left quietly. Thale sat alone with the partnership document. Outside his window, Earth hung in space, blue and green and beautiful, full of 8 billion humans who had spent 3 years preparing for conquest by making themselves impossible to destroy. 3 days later, Commander Thale sent a message to the Imperial Council. It outlined a new approach, partnership, resource sharing, mutual benefit. He claimed it as a victory, a successful conquest achieved through superior strategy. The Council would debate, maybe accept, maybe reject, but that was months away. On Earth, human life continued. Farmers grew food. Engineers maintained systems. Teachers taught classes. Families lived. And Vortex soldiers integrated slowly into a planet that had prepared not to fight them, but to make fighting them unnecessary. In a small rural settlement, Soldier Nex helped farmer Jinho harvest vegetables. They talked about crops and weather and family. In a major city, Commander Kreth worked alongside Ti Yang to expand the power grid. They discussed efficiency and planning and the future. In classrooms across the planet, teacher Minji continued giving lessons. Vortex soldiers sometimes watched, learning, understanding, seeing humans as people. Earth had given one warning. We are prepared for your arrival. They had prepared for 3 years, and their preparation had been perfect. Not weapons, not violence, not force. Understanding, hospitality, humanity, the quiet determination to make genocide impossible by making genocide unthinkable. And it had worked.